Hi, this is my last day of feeding today. I'm having the tube taken out tomorrow afternoon. Today I've done a bit of bolus feeding, and then at lunchtime I had a go at blending a chicken dinner down. It's a bit of a hot topic in enteral feeding, I guess, at the moment, blended diets, and there are sort of patients or families, especially in children, where people are wanting to give just normal food down tubes. So I wanted to have a go at seeing what that was like. I didn't have probably the right equipment for it, so I only had a hand blender, but I managed to whiz it up, and it blended down to a smooth consistency relatively easily, to be honest. But then I did need to dilute it down in a lot of water, so I was only able to get like half a portion really down, and that took about sort of 800 mils, squeezing it through my NG tube. So yeah, you'd have to fortify your diet a lot more than that to be able to meet your requirements. But it felt much better going down. Didn't have the cold feeling. It was quite warm at the back of the throat because the liquid was still a little bit warmer. And it went down fine. I wouldn't have any worries about block tubes, I don't think. If it's blended properly, and especially down a peg which is not as narrow. So that went down fine, but again I did feel full after the full feed. I've also put some cross medications. I've managed to hurt my knee a little bit running yesterday, and so I crushed up a couple of ibuprofen using a couple of spoons, and administered that, and that went down again absolutely fine. I found that swirling the water around as you're drawing the syringe up helped keep all the sort of sediment fairly evenly distributed, and then also just gently shaking the syringe as you push it through. Yeah, that went down okay. And then the other different thing I've done today is I had a few requests about trying some oral diets whilst the tube was in place, just to see how that would feel. Some patients in hospitals or who are recovering the swallow will then transition from sometimes NG feeding to oral diet. So I just wanted to see how that felt, I guess, eating. So what I did is I prepared a liquidized diet, some pureed diet, and some soft diet, and I tried all of those. The liquidized diet, which is basically just liquid soup, it was the chicken dinner, really sort of watered down. That went down fine with no problems. The pureed diet, which is like a just being whizzed down a little bit with a blender, but not down to a liquid. That I did sort of feel got stuck on the tube on the way down, and it had a sensation of getting, as I swallowed the pureed diet, it sort of pulled at the tube, and I felt it sort of moving back up my nose a little bit. And then when I had the soft diet, that was probably even worse, and with each swallow of some cottage pie, the tube really did drag right back up my nose, and I felt it was quite uncomfortable at the bridge of my nose, up here at the top of my nose, and here where it sort of really sort of pushed right up, and that was with each swallow it was pulling it, and I'm guessing it's just the peristalsis of the food pipe, the esophagus, dragging the food down and then dragging the tube down with it. So that was fairly uncomfortable, and also swallowing it was fairly difficult with the tube there. It did take multiple swallows to get the food down, but I did, and again a drink helped sort of wash that down. But I imagine those two things would probably hinder somebody trying to go back onto oral diet whilst the tube was still in there, and for some people it may be too uncomfortable, so they may put them off doing it altogether, I guess. So that's something that was interesting and something I wouldn't have thought about before, and something I will consider from now on, I guess, about people who are trying to sort of eat and drink with the tube in there, and how easy that might be for them. But the food went down fine, and it may be something that if I carried on having a few more meals, that as with the feeding, that's something that I would just get used to. And obviously, if I wasn't eating and I could, the motivating factor would be to eat, I guess, so I could get that tube out. So that was quite interesting. And so that has been my day. Nothing much else to report. Tomorrow I'm going to, just because it's there, so I'm going to continue to bolus feed in the morning, and then I'm going to meet with a patient who's living with MND, and we're just going to have a chat about feeding, and we're gonna film that. And then in the afternoon at 2:00, Dr. McAlinden, who put the tube down, is going to remove that tube. So I'll show you that, which will probably look a little bit gruesome. And then just going to have a bit of a sort of an exit interview for my week. So I will check in again tomorrow for the final time. Thank you for listening.